Have you ever found yourself awake at night, mind racing with thoughts you can't control? Have you ever tried to plan every step of your life, only to be blindsided by the unexpected? What if I told you that your anxiety isn't the enemy? It's a signal, a teacher, even a gateway to peace. Now, imagine waking up without the weight of worry crushing your chest. Imagine facing uncertainty with clarity, grounded in strength that doesn't depend on external events. That's not just a dream. It's the power of Stoic philosophy, and one man mastered it like no other, Marcus Aurelius. If you're ready to take back control of your inner world and learn how to never worry again, you're in the right place. Before we dive in, make sure to subscribe and join a community committed to mastering life with calm and clarity. Let's begin. 1. Control the controllable, release the rest. Worry thrives when we try to control what isn't ours to command. It feeds on illusions, on the belief that if we just think hard enough, stress long enough, or obsess over the details long enough, we'll somehow bend the universe to our will. But the Stoics saw through this trap. They knew the human mind tends to confuse effort with control. We think that by constantly analyzing outcomes or anticipating future problems, we are taking action. In reality, we are often just exhausting ourselves. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This single idea forms the bedrock of Stoic philosophy. It draws a clear line between what is within our domain and what is not. Once we see this line, life becomes simpler, not easier, but simpler. The chaos outside us begins to shrink in importance, and we find ourselves focusing on the one thing we can truly master, ourselves. So what do we actually control? Our attitude, our effort, our reactions. These are within our grasp. The way we respond to adversity, the values we choose to live by, the discipline we develop, and the perspective we adopt. All of this belongs to us. What don't we control? Practically everything else. The opinions of others, the results of our plans, the passage of time, the weather, the decisions made by strangers, the past. Clinging to any of these is like trying to hold water in your hands. The more tightly you grip, the faster it slips away. Every moment spent trying to fix what's out of your hands is energy drained from your personal development. That energy could be spent on becoming stronger, wiser, and more composed. Instead, it leaks into anxiety, frustration, and helplessness. The Stoic mindset teaches us to redirect our focus inward. When the outside world shakes, we steady ourselves. When people disappoint us, we examine our expectations. When things don't go our way, we look at how we handled them, not just what happened. Peace doesn't come from everything going right. It comes from knowing you'll be all right no matter what happens. The illusion of control is just that, an illusion. But mastery over yourself, that's real power. That's where peace begins. When you stop demanding control over what isn't yours and begin to take responsibility for what is, you begin to grow. You move from victim to student. You stop fighting reality and begin working with it. That's the Stoic path. It's not easy, but it's liberating. 2. Turn uncertainty into preparation. Uncertainty makes many people feel helpless. We like knowing what's coming next. We make plans, predictions, and assumptions. We cling to the familiar. And when life veers off course, we panic. Not because we're weak, but because we're unprepared. The Stoics understood something we often resist. Certainty is an illusion. Control is partial at best. No amount of planning can account for every variable. Life is wild, unpredictable, and often indifferent to our desires. But that doesn't mean we're powerless. Stoicism doesn't teach us to fear uncertainty. It teaches us to train for it. When you accept that the unexpected is part of life, you begin to prepare in a deeper way, not just with to-do lists and schedules, but by building inner strength. Marcus Aurelius never wished for an easy life. He didn't ask for calm seas. Instead, he asked to be the kind of person who could sail through storms. That's the Stoic way, to build resilience rather than chase comfort. Preparation means developing mental habits that allow you to stay calm and composed when life shifts. It means practicing adaptability, not rigidity. It means expecting disruption, not dreading it. That way, when life changes, as it always will, you don't collapse. You adjust. Uncertainty is not the enemy. In many ways, it's the training ground. It reveals what we're made of. It strips away our illusions and shows us where we still have work to do. When you stop running from it and start working with it, you become stronger, more focused, and more courageous. Most people demand that life be predictable. Stoics, on the other hand, train to be unshaken. They rehearse adversity in their minds. They visualize setbacks and prepare for hardship, not to be pessimistic, but to remain grounded. When you see life as a series of unpredictable events and yourself as someone who is constantly preparing, you gain power. You move from reaction to readiness. You stop needing life to behave and start trusting yourself to adapt. That's the heart of Stoicism in uncertain times. Not to wait for peace, but to carry it with you. When life throws a storm, you're already wearing armor. 3. Accept what is, act on what can be. Worry often hides behind resistance. It disguises itself as complaints and frustration. This isn't fair. I wish things were different. Why did this happen? These thoughts are natural. But if we let them dominate our minds, they become quicksand, trapping us in powerless cycles. The Stoics offered a radical approach. Accept what is. That doesn't mean we approve of it. It doesn't mean we give up. It means we stop fighting reality with denial. Acceptance clears the fog of emotion. It allows us to see what's really happening and decide what to do next. Marcus Aurelius endured betrayals, plagues, and endless conflict. Yet he didn't waste energy wishing it were otherwise. He focused on what he could do, his actions, his decisions, his mindset. That's the power of acceptance. It shifts your energy from wishing to acting. When we resist reality, we argue with facts. And facts don't change because of our emotions, but when we accept, we gain clarity. And with clarity comes better choices. Instead of saying, "This shouldn't have happened," we ask, "What can I do now?" Acceptance is not weakness. It's courage. It's the bravery to look life in the eye and respond wisely. It means letting go of the fantasy version of events and dealing with what's in front of us. Sometimes that means grieving. Sometimes it means changing course. Sometimes it means enduring pain with grace. But in all cases, acceptance is the first step forward. When you accept what is, you stop wasting energy fighting what you can't change. That energy is better used shaping what you can. You move from reaction to intention, from helplessness to purpose. This is how Stoics rise. Not by escaping pain or disappointment, but by facing it with open eyes and strong hearts. They don't wish for different lives. They make the most of the ones they have. So the next time life doesn't go your way, don't fall into the trap of resistance. Don't drown in thoughts of if only. Accept what is, then act with clarity. That's where true strength lies. 4. Master the present, the only time that exists. What if the root of your anxiety isn't the future or the past, but your absence from the present? That's a hard question, maybe even an uncomfortable one. But it's a question the Stoics would have insisted we ask ourselves. Seneca, Epictetus, and Marcus Aurelius all understood a powerful truth. The present moment is the only time that truly exists. The past has already happened. It is beyond your control. The future is not guaranteed. It is unpredictable. The only moment you ever truly live in is now. And yet, how often do we spend our days somewhere else, mentally reliving a mistake from yesterday or worrying about what tomorrow might bring? We scroll through our phones, half aware of our surroundings, lost in noise, distraction, or discontent. It's no wonder anxiety flourishes in the modern world. We've become strangers to the moment we're actually living in. The Stoics called for a radical return to presence, not as a trendy mindfulness exercise, but as a deep philosophical practice. To them, living well meant living fully in the present. It meant focusing entirely on what you can do now, with what you have, where you are. Nothing more, nothing less. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his journal, what we now call Meditations, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. That strength lies in your attention. When you reclaim it from the regrets of yesterday and the fears of tomorrow, you begin to master the only time that exists. Think about it. Worry lives in tomorrow. Regret lives in yesterday. But your strength? It lives in now. Every breath you take is an invitation to come back to the present moment. It doesn't require a silent retreat or a mountaintop. It just requires that you pay attention. Right now, try this simple exercise. Pause. Feel your breath. Don't change it. Just notice it. Observe the rhythm of your body, inhaling and exhaling. Feel the chair beneath you, the weight of gravity, the temperature of the air on your skin. Now, notice your thoughts. Don't fight them. Just observe them as clouds drifting across the sky. You are not your thoughts. You are the observer of them. This moment, this breath, is the anchor that brings you back to yourself. When you live this way, moment to moment, you stop waiting for some perfect time to act, speak, or live. You stop being paralyzed by indecision, by analysis, by fear. You start living intentionally. You become decisive, focused, and alive. You stop being distracted by noise, internal or external, and start hearing the quiet clarity of your own reason. This is not some mystical concept. It's intensely practical. If you're working, work. If you're eating, eat. If you're walking, walk. Do what you are doing fully, with your whole being. That's not just philosophy, that's freedom. In fact, the entire Stoic project can be summarized in this simple formula. Pay attention, use reason, do your duty, let go of the rest. If that sounds simple, it's because it is. But simple doesn't mean easy. In a world constantly trying to hijack your attention, choosing to be present is an act of quiet rebellion. It's an act of strength. Every time you bring your mind back to the present, you're training yourself to be more resilient, more grounded, more alive. Because presence isn't just about peace. It's about power. When you're here, fully here, you respond with clarity. You make better decisions. You act with purpose. You stop being owned by past pain or future fears. So the next time you feel overwhelmed or anxious, ask yourself, am I here? Or have I drifted into a time that doesn't exist? Return, breathe, focus, act, master the present, and you master your life. 5. Let go without letting go of yourself. The final lesson from Marcus Aurelius is this: release, but remain whole. At first that might sound contradictory. How can you let go and still be whole? How can you care deeply, but not be controlled? The answer lies in the heart of Stoic detachment, not apathy, not coldness, but clarity. To the Stoics, detachment doesn't mean you don't feel. It means you feel without being ruled by emotion. It means you act with love, with intention, with passion, but you don't tie your identity to the outcomes of your efforts. You love fully, but you're not shattered when love is lost. You work hard, but your self-worth doesn't rise and fall with success or failure. You show up, but your peace doesn't depend on how others respond. This is the delicate balance the Stoics walked, and they encourage us to do the same. Marcus Aurelius himself ruled an empire, raised children, buried loved ones, and faced plagues and wars. And yet through it all, he wrote, "You may leave this life right now. Let that determine what you do, say, and think." He lived in full awareness of the impermanence of everything, but he never let that awareness break him. Instead, it made him stronger, more focused, more compassionate. So how do you let go without letting go of yourself? You begin by knowing what's yours to control, your thoughts, your actions, your values, and what is not. The opinions of others, the success of your plans, the outcome of your efforts. Once you make that distinction, you can release your grip on what's beyond you. You care, but you're not controlled. You strive, but you're not shaken. You give, but you remain grounded. That grounding comes from living in alignment with your values, not the world's values, yours. Ask yourself, what kind of person do I want to be, regardless of what happens around me? Do you want to be kind, honest, courageous? Then make those qualities your foundation, not your job title, not your relationship status, not your social media likes. Because when the storms of life come, and they will, you need a self that doesn't shatter. You need a self built not on circumstances, but on character. Detachment in this way becomes a form of love, not clingy, fearful love, but strong, steady love. A love that gives without needing to possess. A love that acts without needing reward. A love that endures even when things fall apart. That's Stoic peace. Not the absence of emotion, but the presence of something deeper, a calmness rooted in purpose, a freedom grounded in discipline, a joy that isn't tied to outcomes. Letting go in this way doesn't mean giving up. It means showing up fully, but refusing to let external things define you. It means practicing what Epictetus called the art of acquiescence, not passive surrender, but graceful acceptance. When you live like this, you're no longer a puppet of fortune. You become your own anchor. You're no longer blown about by praise or criticism, success or failure. You move through life with strength, not because everything goes your way, but because you're no longer dependent on it. So yes, release, but remain whole. Let go, but don't let go of yourself. Because who you are, your reasoned, virtuous, grounded self, is the only thing that truly belongs to you. And when you build your life on that foundation, nothing can take it away. Not failure, not heartbreak, not loss. Just like Marcus Aurelius, you'll face every challenge and still rise, because your peace, your strength, your freedom doesn't come from what changes. It comes from what endures. It comes from within. Choose the Stoic way. Worry isn't something you need to carry anymore. You're not powerless. You're not broken. You're simply using a map that leads nowhere. But now you have a new path, one walked by kings, warriors, philosophers, one marked by clarity, presence, and inner peace. So choose today to think like Marcus Aurelius. Let go of what you cannot control, root yourself in purpose, and live each day with a calm, courageous heart. If this resonated with you, subscribe, share this message, and join us in building lives of strength and meaning, one day, one thought, one action at a time. Remember, you don't need to control everything. You just need to control you, and that is more than enough.